No. But let me explain. So look, the idea of is this saturated, is that saturated, so on and so on goes around online. It talks about SMMA, e-commerce, dropshipping, all these business models. They have this question, lingering fucking question, is it saturated, right? And I understand why people ask this, but I've really delved deep into like, why the fuck people think this? Because everything works. I'm gonna tell you now. Dropshipping can work, e-commerce can work, SMMA can work. OFM I know works, I'm actively doing it. But there are still these questions about, is it too saturated, is it too late, this and that. Now, where it stems from is from people who have tried these things and they have simply just not found success and they've stopped doing it, right? They've quit. And instead of looking inwards and instead of being like, okay, you know what? Which is the hard part, by the way. Looking inwards and going, okay, I'll be honest. Maybe I was just inadequate in this. I didn't do enough outreach. I didn't do this correctly. I didn't give enough time. I could have done this differently and so on and so on. Instead, they look outwards and they look for a simple, quick kind of fix or a way out, an excuse on why it didn't work for them, which typically comes down to that is just the problem, the market. It was too saturated. I sent out 50 messages and I didn't get a client, right? And then this person goes on to tell the next person and all of a sudden people start talking about these different things. Now, there is the idea of saturation. It makes sense, right? It's like if there is 10 people doing this thing and there is 100,000 doing this thing, then this thing is a bit more saturated, obviously. That doesn't make sense, right? And with different business models, for sure, like for example, if I was just to compare OFM to something like dropshipping or SMMA, I mean, these business models have been about for literally years longer than OFM, right? So technically, yes, more people are doing actively, there's more competition, it's more saturated. But if you will look at OnlyFans management specifically, according to Google, there is, or a study on Google, there was in 2021 a study made where there was about 185 users on OnlyFans, right? And this is 2021, so that's a couple of years ago. So now there's way more. And out of those 185 million, about 2 million were creators, so girls and guys who publish content and then try to make money, which means you have around 2 million potential clients that you could work with. Make sense? You just need one. Like, if you really wanted to, you could just get one client, put all your focus and energy into this one client, focus on the chatting, on the marketing, being creative, putting them out there and bringing in a ton of new subscribers. And that's how you can make a lot of money. You can make $10,000 a month with just one creator. Do I think that's a great idea? It's up to you. I think there's a different way to doing it, but if you really wanted to, you could do that, right? And in terms of competition, so if there's 2 million potential clients for you to work with, well, if we look at the competition, I would roughly estimate there's anywhere between like maybe 15 to 30,000 agencies that are actively running right now, yeah? If I was to randomly guess. And by the way, this is based off of like how many views I get on YouTube, how many people are talking about this online, like how many Reddit forums there are, how many members there are, how many members are in our community. And you know, I have a good rough estimate. And out of those, typically, the same with everything else in life, like school, college, university, any sales jobs in general, typically the top performers is 5 to maybe 10 to maybe 15%. Which means out of those, let's just say worst case scenario, there are 30,000 potential competitors of yours, so other agencies. There's about 5 to 15% of them who are actually putting in effort, who are actually doing outreach every day, trying to get new clients, actually finding success and so on. So just a couple thousand compared to 2 million creators that you could work with. So supply and demand is obviously massively in your favor. I think that goes without saying. And, you know, again, like I said, there are like pros and cons of having a more saturated or a less saturated market. So with something like SMMA, for example, and I use that because I come from that background, you know. If you didn't know, my first business was a marketing agency. I ran that for nearly 3 and 4 years, somewhere around that. And I found decent success with it. I kind of niched down to working with law firms and lawyers. And I just looked at it like basic stats. I didn't like look at different Reddit forums or look what people are saying in the comments, etc. I just looked at the facts. I specifically worked with law firms and solicitors in US and Canada. So I just went on Google and I Google search how many law firms there were. I can't remember the exact number. I'm assuming there was tens of thousands or maybe even a couple 100,000, right? And then I thought, okay, well, there's definitely a lot of them. I know they make a lot of money. It's a law firm. That's all they fucking do. And then I thought, okay, well, how many competitors are there? So I just went on Google and I searched law firm marketing, and then I put my search options as like USA and so on. And, you know, sure, in like 5-10 pages, I maybe found a couple dozen, like 20, 30. And even out of those, like, they weren't necessarily doing exactly what I was planning to do. They were like doing, I'll do web design, I'll do SEO, I'll do whatever the fuck. And I was like, right, well, technically what I'm planning to do, I couldn't find a single person. So boom, there you go, right? So anyway, looking at OFM, it's the same thing. Going into 2025, it is by far one of the best ways to make money online. Like, there is nothing else like it. The business model just simply works. You are reaching out to potential clients who already need your help. They are already doing it by themselves. They've tried it. They've been doing it for a year or two, and they may be making $2,000 to $5,000 a month. And they're trying their fucking hardest, and they can't scale past $10,000 a month. And that's where you come in, right? So they actively need your help. The thing that you're selling, you're not really having to sell it. The people that are wanting to buy it, they want to buy it anyway. So the sales are super simple. Marketing is the easiest thing in the world. People get that really, really wrong. I feel like we've genuinely cracked the code on marketing. It's just, if I could summarize it in one simple thing, it's just creativeness. The more creative you are, simply the more viral the content is going to go. If you copy what everybody does, and when I say copy, like literally if you just make your clients do exactly the same thing as everybody else, yeah, it's not going to work that well because everybody else is doing it. But you can take inspiration from the top creators, because clearly something's working for them, make it your own, make it better, make it unique, change it up a little bit, and then you create creative content that is unique and different. There's a way higher chance of it going viral. But anyway, this specific video, I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. I could have just ended it within the first 2 seconds because no, it is not saturated. I actively get more messages every single day of potential models who want to work with me and with my agency than I can even deal with. So no, absolutely supply and demand and this whole saturation thing is a complete myth. Sure, who knows, maybe in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, who knows, maybe like everybody starts all of a sudden running an OnlyFans management agency and then it becomes too saturated, who knows. But right now, it is still the best time to get started. And if you want to start, I have a free course, free. It's the link in the description. Please leave a like, that's all I ask on this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.